Welcome back. In this video, let's look at a few exercises related to the method parameters. The first one is to write a method called print numbers that would print all successive integers from 1 to n. There is a simple catch over here. There's a small mistake that I did. Try and catch it and write a method which would print numbers from 1 to n. The second one is to write a method called print squares of numbers that prints squares of all successive integers from 1 to n. You can pause the video in here, try and execute the exercises, and then look at the solution. What we want to do is we would want to start with the exercise number 1. Print numbers. One of the important things is if you are programming in other languages and you are used to using this kind of a convention to name your methods, print numbers, remember that that's not how Python programmers name their methods. The way they would name it is using print underscore numbers. So they don't use camel casing. So in Python, typically we don't really use camel casing. The way we would name our methods is print numbers and print underscore numbers. This is considered to be more readable than this. It's kind of a debatable topic, but let's not worry about it. Print numbers. What we want to do is we would want to pass n. So we would want to pass an parameter n, and we are going to define a method. So for I in range 1 to n plus 1. Oops, again the same mistake. Colon. Now I would want to give more spaces, and then I would want to say print I. Let's now execute print numbers. Print numbers 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Isn't that cool? It's very simple, right? So all that we needed to do was just loop around and print the numbers. Now def print squares of numbers, right? So squares of numbers, is that the exact name that we had? Yep, print squares of numbers n, and what we need to do over here is the same range. However, we want to print the squares, so I need to say print I star I. Isn't that cool? The typical mistake is the indentation. So one indentation here and 2 indentations over here. So 4 spaces and 8 spaces. Let's print squares of numbers. Print squares of numbers of 5. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Cool, right? So that's what we wanted to do. In this small video, we looked at a couple of exercises related to parameters for a method. We defined methods with parameters and we passed arguments to it. One of the things that people usually confuse with is argument versus parameter. Right? One of the things you can remember is inside the definition of the method, it's called a parameter. So n here is a parameter because it's used in the definition of the method. But when you are passing a value, here 5 is a value passed. The value passed to a method is called an argument. So when you are invoking, you use an argument. When you are defining a method, when you are defining the body of the method, you would use a parameter. The thing is, this distinction is not really important. For a beginner, either the parameter or an argument can mean absolutely the same thing. Don't worry about it. In the invocation, we would use an argument, and in the definition, we would use a parameter. I'll see you in the next step. Until then, bye-bye.